Shruti is on 4th, but 4th you have internals, no? 4th,
Yeah.
5th people can give today only.
Ma'am,
Today
I
and
can
tomorrow.
give tomorrow, ma'am. Like
Tomorrow we don't lab we have, right? Yeah, fine.
yeah.
Yeah. You can
Like
just put the message.
ma'am, which program I had to explain, ma'am?
Shruti, first program.
Okay, ma'am. Sure. Tomorrow I'll explain, ma'am.
Yeah, put the message in your official group or unofficial group. Tomorrow is the last date for all lab explanation.
Okay, ma'am.
4th and 5th, no. Tomorrow, I'll just change it in this also. Everything only tomorrow is the last date. 31st. Because for 4th and 5th you have internals. We don't have time. 12, 20, 20. Yeah, anybody can start. I have changed it. I will share again. Yeah. Maithili, you can start, Maithili.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, is this visible?
Yeah, Maithili. But open your SQL. ಯಾಕೆ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದಾಗ್ತದೆ ನಾನೇ ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
Ma'am, I got third program, ma'am.
Increase the font size.
No, ma'am.
Yeah. It's okay.
Ma'am, firstly, I'll read with the statements they given.
Hmm.
Ma'am, you mute, ma'am, because I'm getting resound.
Yeah.
They have given an organization ABC having many employees. An employee works for one department. Each employee identified by using employee ID, which is a primary key, and having
ಮೈಥಿಲಿ
attributes
ಮೊಬೈಲ್
like name.
ಮೈಥಿಲಿ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಯಾ?
Yes, ma'am.
ಎರಡು ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಎರಡು ಮಾಡಿದ್ಯಾ?
Yes, ma'am.
ಅದಕ್ಕೆ
Okay,
ನಿಮ್ದು
I'll left from mobile, ma'am.
Okay, continue, Maithili, continue.
Ma'am, now is it okay?
It is okay, Maithili.
Ma'am, like in employee table, we have employee ID. name, address, and house number, city, district, state, pin code, which will come under address only, and more than one phone numbers. And one more table is department, which is having attributes like department number, department name, department location, and having a manager for that department. Each department having many employees, and there are many projects. Each project is controlled by the department. Even project is one more table, which project number is primary key, having project name and project location. An employee works on many projects. Number of hours per week worked on each project by employee also needed to be recorded in the database. A project is worked by many employees. Each employee supervised by the supervisor. Even supervisor will be referred from the employees. An employee having many dependents. Dependents having the dependent name, gender, age, address. Dependents are identified by employee ID. Here, we are using 3NF to solve the following queries. And then I'll start with the creation of tables now. So first we are creating employee table, which has employee ID as a primary key, and other attributes are like employee name, address, supervisor employee ID, department number. And then second table is employee phone, which is having employee ID, which is referred from the employee table, and phone number. Then here we are altering the employee table by adding a foreign key for supervisor, because we are referring from employees by taking employee ID with reference. So then next table is we are creating the department, in which department number is a primary key, and other attributes are like department number, department location, department manager ID, which is referred from employee ID of employee table. And then one more table is project table. In that, project number is a primary key, project name, project location, department number, which is referring from the department number from the department table. And then next table is works on, in which employee ID we are referring from the employee table, project number referring from the project, and number of hours worked by the employees. Next table is dependent, where employee ID is referring from the employee, dependent name, gender, and address, age, number. Even dependents are referred from the employees. And then we are inserting the values for all the tables. Coming to first query, display the details of the employees who are working on both the projects having project number 5 and 10. Here we are selecting all from employee, where employee ID in select W1 dot employee ID from works on W1, works on W2, where W1 dot project number equal to P5, and W2 dot project number is P10. Here we are selecting the project numbers P5 and P10, and we are taking the employee IDs who are working on these projects. So based on our insertion, we'll get the output. And then second query is display the details of employees having at least 2 dependents. Here we are selecting the employees who has more than 2, like at least 2 dependents for that employee. So we are giving select star from employee, where employee ID in select employee ID from dependent, grouping employee ID having count dependent name greater than or equal to 2. Next query is display the project name on which more number of employees are working. Here we are displaying the employees who are working on more than more projects. select project number, project name from project, where project number in. Select project number from works on, grouping the project number having count employee ID equal to select, like we are counting by like maximum count employee ID from works on group by project number. The next query is retrieve the employees who do not have any dependents. Here we are executing the employees who don't have any dependents for that employee. So for that query is like select star from employee where employee ID not in, employee ID from dependent. Next query is display the employee details whose total number of hours per week working on various project is maximum than all other employees. Here we are taking number of hours, like who has worked for more number of hours. For that, select star from employee where employee ID in, select employee ID from works on, grouping the employee ID having sum of hours equal to maximum sum of hours from works on, grouping the employee ID. Next, next query is create a view to display the number of employees working in each department. Here we are creating a view for number of employee per department as by selecting department number, counting the employee ID as number of employees from employee group by department number. So after giving select star from number of employee per department, it will display the number of employees in that. Next, ER diagram. So first we are creating employee table. For that, the attributes are employee name, employee ID, which is a primary key, and then address, supervisors, and then with MS to N relation, employees working for the department, and department name, department number, which is a primary key, and the department location are the attributes of department. And then department is controlled by controls project, where project number is the primary key, and then project name, project locations are the attributes of this project. An employee works on a number of hours. Employees having dependents, where is name, gender, age, and address with 1:n relation. Then here is schema diagram. This is the employee table which having the attributes employee ID, name, address, supervisor ID, department number, and then project table having the attributes project number, which is a primary key, and then project name, project location, and department number. And next, department table, department number is a primary key, department name, department location, and manager ID is the attributes of the department table, where manager ID is referring from the employee ID, and department number of the project is referring from the department number. And then other table is dependent having the attributes name, gender, age, address, and employee ID, where employee ID is referred from the employee ID of the employee table. And then employee project, employee ID, which is referring from same employee ID from employee table. And then project number is referring from project number of the project table. And then employee phone number, EID, which is an employee ID referring from the employee table, and then phone number. That's it, ma'am.
Maithili, okay. Next person.
Ma'am, shall I say, ma'am?
Yes. Yes, Akash. Maithili, stop presenting. Akash, you carry on.
Ma'am, mine is first program, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Carry on, Akash. Little bit increase the font size. Yeah.
Ma'am, this is to create following table with properly specifying primary key and foreign key. So for this, we use college and library, ma'am, as an example, and we create five five tables, ma'am, like branch, student, book, author, and borrow. And while creating a table branch, uh, we add branch ID, branch name, and HOD, and branch ID as primary key. And while creating student, we add USN name, address, and USN branch ID and USN as a primary key. While creating author, we add author ID, author name, country, and age. Author ID as primary key, ma'am. Book table, we add book ID, book name, author ID, publisher, branch ID. Book ID as primary key. And last table as borrow, which we add USN book ID and borrow date. USN as okay, no, it's not primary key. Okay, so after creating, we add details, ma'am, like required details. Then going to the queries, ma'am. Here list the detail of student who are all.
Akash, be serious. Be serious.
This is first query, ma'am. List the detail of student who are all studying in second sem MCA. So we add select s dot usn, s dot name, s dot address, s dot sem, b dot branch name from student s, and branch b where s dot branch ID b equal to b dot branch ID and b dot branch name equal to MC and s dot sem equal to 2. So we uh, here we uh, uh, ma'am, I'll say it again, ma'am. Select s dot usn, s dot name, s dot address, s dot sem, b dot branch name from student s, branch b where s dot branch ID is equal to b dot branch ID and b dot branch name equal to MC and s dot s sem equal to 2. We get this student, ma'am, who is studying from second sem MCA, ma'am. And second query, select USN. Okay, this is list the student who are not borrowed any book. Here we use select USN name from student where USN in select USN from student minus select distinct USN from borrow. We get two students, ma'am. And third query, display the USN student name, branch name, book name, author name, books borrowed date of second sem MCA student who borrowed books. Here we use select distinct s dot usn, s dot name, br dot branch name, b dot book name, a dot author name, b bo dot borrowed date from student s, book b, author a, borrow bo, branch br where s dot usn equal to bo dot usn and s dot branch id equal to br dot branch id and s dot sem equal to 2 and br dot branch name equal to mca, and we get this detail, ma'am. USN name, branch name, book name, author name, borrow date, and the students who borrowed books, ma'am. And fourth query, display the number of book written by each other. Here we use select a dot author id count, b dot book id from book b, author a where b dot author id a dot equal to a dot author id group by a dot author id. Here we get other ID and count b dot book ID, ma'am. How many books they have like published each other, and display the student details who borrowed more than two books. Here we use select s dot usn count bo dot book ID from student s, borrow book borrow bo book bk where s dot USN equal to bo.usn and bo.book id equal to bk.book id group by s dot usn having count bo.book id greater than 2. So we get one student, ma'am, who got 5 books, that is more than 2, and display the student detail who borrowed books of more than one author. So here is select s dot usn count a dot author id from student s, borrow bo book bk author a, where s dot usn equal to bo dot usn and bk book id equal to bo dot book id and a dot author id equal to bk dot author id group by s dot usn having count a dot author id greater than 1. So here we get student detail, ma'am, who bought more than like more than from one author, who bought more than from one author. Okay. Next query is display the book names in descending order of their names. Okay, here select start from book order by book name. So we get this now. And the eighth query lists the detail of student who borrowed the book, which are all published by the same publisher. Here select s.usn, s.name, b.book name, b.publisher from student s, book b, borrow bo, where s.usn equal to bo.usn and b.book id, bo.book id equal to bo.book id and b.publisher equal to tt. So we get this, ma'am. And scheme, I'll say and ER diagram, then I'll go there. So here branch and their attributes are branch ID, branch name, HOD, which has a relation with the student and it has a relation with book. And student has attribute USN name, address, SEM, which has a borrow relation with book. Borrow has attribute of borrow date, and book has a relation with author. Book is publisher, book ID and author ID. Other attributes are author ID, other name, country and age. So schema uh, here. This is branch table, ma'am. Branch ID, branch name, HOD. Okay. So book branch ID and student branch ID are referred from branch table, ma'am. Here branch ID and borrow USN is referred from student USN, ma'am. And borrow book ID is referred from book ID, ma'am, from book table. And author ID is referred from author table, ma'am. Here. That's all, ma'am.
Okay, Akash. But why you were laughing in between? What was the reason for you to laugh?
No, ma'am, nothing.
Okay, stop. Next person. Next, who want to present?
Excuse me, ma'am. I will present. Srinidhi.
Yeah. Yes, Srinidhi. Yes, Srinidhi.
Ma'am, I got fourth one.
Okay.
It is based on the tourist management. Yes, ma'am. Here, first we are creating a table. The screen is visible.
Yes, Srinidhi.
Yeah. First we have to make a column, like make an entity first. What are the entity we want for the tourist database management? Under that, we classified as tourist place, tourist visits, and the visitors mail IDs. This mail ID used for the feedbacks. Tourist plus tourist visit email, and then for creating a table we want key, primary key as a tip tourist place id, and history and kilometers, state, name. Under that create table tourist, the TID as a primary key, it means tourist ID as a primary key, country, age, and tourist name. And then we have to create a visit, TPID number, it reference to the tourist place. Here one TID number reference to the tourist ID, uh, visits date, and primary key as TPID and TID. And then create a table as email, number reference, TID, tourist ID, tourist ID number reference to the tourist TID, email varchar primary key TID as email, table created, and then we have to insert that entity. We have to insert the attributes. It means information about that. We have to first insert the tourist place values, visits value, and email value. And then we have a query for that. List the state name which having the maximum number of tourist places. Under that, we have a query that is select state from tourist place group by state having count state. Yeah, we have count the states maximum number of tourist places. That's why we have used it as count keyword here. Select maximum count state from tourist place group by state. Here it will display all the states of whatever we have inserted. And then next query, list the details of tourist place where maximum number of tourists visited. Who are the visitors are visited maximum numbers of tourists, and that we put a query as select star from tourist place where TPID, and select TPID from visit group here grouping the uh, TPID from visits, and TPID having count of TPID equals select maximum count of TPID from visits group by TPID. Here it will displays the maximum number of tourists visited. In that we are inserted from information, and then listed details of tourists visited all the tourist places of the Karnataka. Who are the peoples are uh, are visited in Karnataka. We have to display the who are the peoples or tourists are visited in Karnataka. On that query we have put a query as a select star from tourist where TID in select TID from visits join tourist place on visit. Here joining the tourist place with the TID and tourist plus TPID. We are joining with tourist ID and tourist place ID, where state Karnataka. We are mentioning Karnataka because we have to sort the Karnataka. The people are in Karnataka place group by TPID having count state in select count state from tourist place where state is equal to Karnataka. And the fourth query is display the details of the tourist visited at least one tourist place of the state, but visited all the state's tourist place. In that query, select star from tourist where TID in select TID from visits join tourist place on visits. TPID is tourist place TPID group by TID having count distinct state in select count distinct state from tourist place. Here it is displaying one at least one tourist place of the state visited all the state tourist places now. In the last query, the one person or another person will display the details of tourist place visited by the tourists of all countries. The one person or many tourist places come in that select star from tourist place where TPID in select TPID from visits, join tourist on visits TID, tourist ID group by TPID having count distinct country, select count distinct country from tourist. Here it is displaying the TPID history, kilometer state and to tourist place name. In the schema representation, in the tourist entity, it contain attributes TID, TName, age, country. TID is a primary key for in the tourist entity, and then tourist place entity TPID is a primary key. TP name, state, history, kilometer are attributes. Email TID is it reference to the tourist, and then TID is reference to the, and then in the in email in visits TID is a reference to the tourist, and TPID is also reference to the tourist. In that ER diagram, tourist entity tourist and the tourist place in the relation visits. In the tourist contain attributes country, age, TID. TID is a primary key and T name, and then tourist it is a many to end relation. In tourist place contain kilometers, history, states, TPID, TP name, and visit state. That's one.
Okay. Next person. Yes, next who is ready? Yes? Anybody?
Ma'am, can I share?
Yeah, Ramya.
Ma'am, is it visible?
Yes, Ramya, it is visible.
Hello.
Yes, Ramya, it is visible.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, mine is fourth one.
Hmm.
That is the tourist organization.
Hmm.
In this, we are going to create four tables. That is tourist place, tourist visits, and an email. In tourist place, we have a primary key TPID, that is tourist place ID, which is of type number. And another one is history. It is of type varchar, and kilometers and state, and a TP name, that is tourist place name. Next one, we have a table called tourist, that is having a primary key tourist ID and a country, age, tourist name. It is of type varchar. And the next table is visits, and visits it is referring from the tourist place of a tourist place ID, and that is a tourist place ID, and the TID it is referring from the tourist, and visit date. These two are the primary keys which we have referred, that is TPID and the TID. And the next we are going to create a table called email. Email, it is also referred from the table tourist, and the email of the email it is of type varchar, and it is and the primary keys which we are referred as TID. And next we are going to insert the tourist for the tourist places and tourist values, and the visit values and the email values. And the first query is list the detail or is the state name which is having the maximum number of tourist places. Here we are going to display only the states which is having a maximum of tourist places. Suppose if there are 15 or like 10 places in that, with 10 states in that which we are going to display only the states which are having the maximum tourist place. So that we have a query, select the start. Here they are mentioned the only the state we have to display. So we are taking select state from tourist place, group by state, having a count is an aggregate function of state. It is equal to state maximum. We have to count, we are counting the number of states. Two, we have taken the max function count state from tourist place group by the state. We are going to display only the group, only the state. So we are grouping by state. So here they displayed four states, that is Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Karnataka. Next is list the details of tourist place where maximum number of tourists visited. So here list the details of tourist place where maximum number of tourists were. You are going to display the only the places, like the places where the maximum number of tourists visited. So the query is select star from tourist place where TPID in, like that is tourist place ID in, select the tourist place ID from the visits. Here we are going to take the table, we are going to select from the visit table. So visit group by TPID, having the count TPID from TPID is equal to select max count TPID from visits group by TPID. You are going to display that these two are the places where the maximum number of tourists visited. And third query is list the details of tourists visited all the tourist places of state Karnataka. List the details of tourists visited all the tourist places. Like in Karnataka, suppose if there are 5 places, then that places must be visited by all the tourists. So we are going to display that details. That is fifth. So like we have a query like select star from tourist T, where TID in select TID from visits join tourist place on visit TPID is equal to, we are comparing here, tourist place dot TPID where state is Karnataka. Here we are taking Karnataka because they are mentioned that we have to display the place, we have to display the state of Karnataka who are visited by all the tourists, and group by TID having the count state in select count of state from tourist place where state is equal to Karnataka. This is the output that we got. And the fourth one is display the details of tourists visited at least one tourist place of the state but visited all the tourist place. Suppose in a state there may be many places, tourist places, but we are going to display only the tourists who visited all the places of that state. So select star from tourist T where TID in, select TID from visits join tourist place on visits dot TPID is equal to tourist place dot TPID group by TID having a count distinct state. In select count distinct state from tourist place. We are going to display the output of 23 TID, country USA, age 20, and the T name is Heath. And the next one is the fifth one. Display the details of tourist place visited by the tourists of all the country. Suppose there may be a tourist of 5 countries. We are going to display the tourist who visited uh, display the details of tourist place visited by tourists of all country. We are going to display the tourists of all the country who visited the tourist place. Fifth one is select star from tourist place where TPID in, select TPID from visits join tourist on visit ID is equal to tourist or TID group by TPID having the count distinct country is equal to select count distant country from the tourist. Here we are going to display the output. Next one is a schema diagram. For tourist we have a TID, T name, age and the country, and for tourist place we have a TPID, TP name, state, history and the kilometers. And for email we have TID and email. TID is referred from the tourist, and visits is referred. In visits we have TID, TPID, and visit date. TPID is referred to the tourist place, and TID is referred to the tourist. And next one is ER diagram. ER diagram, we have two entities called tourist and the tourist place, and the relation is visits. And tourist have an attributes called country, age, and TID, that is tourist ID. Tourist ID is the primary key and a T name. And tourist place is having a kilometers, history, state, TPID, and TP name, that is tourist place name, and the relation has having a visit date. That's it, ma'am.
Yes. Yes, Ramya. Anybody else?
I'm Arshit.
Ma'am, should I share?
Yeah. Anyone?
Hello, ma'am. It's visible,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yeah, you're showing in mobile.
Ma'am, I got the first. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, increase the font size.
Okay, ma'am. Now,
Yes.
ma'am, I got the first pro. In this, we have to create the following tables with properly specifying the primary key, foreign key, and solve the following queries. In this, we have to create a table called branch, student, book, author, and borrow. In first, we have to create the table branch with the primary key, branch ID, branch name, and HOD. Branch ID with type workCare, and branch name with type workCare, and HOD also type workCare. And next, we have to create the table student with the primary key USN, name, address, SEM, and branch ID. And next, we have to create the table author with the primary key author ID, author name, country, and age. Next, we have to create the table called book with the reference key, book ID, book name, author ID, publisher, and branch ID. Next, we have to create the table borrow with the reference key, USN, book ID, and borrow date. Then we have to insert the values to the branch by using syntax select star from branch. Then branch. Next, we have to insert the values to the student table with a syntax select star from student. Then next, insert the values to the author from the syntax select star from author. Next, insert the values to the book with a syntax select star from book. Next, borrow with a select star from borrow. In the first query, we have to list the details of the students who are all studying in second sem MCA. Here we have to select the student S.USN, S.name, S.address, S.sem, and B.branch name from the student S branch B, where S branch ID is equal to B branch ID and B branch name equals to MCA and S.sem equals to 2. Here is the output. Next, we have to second query is to list the students who are not borrowed any books. Like we have to select USN name from the student, where select USN from the student and select the distinct USN from borrowed. Next, we have to third query is to display the USN, student name, branch name, book name, author name, books borrowed, date of second sem MCA, students who are borrowed books. In this, we have to select distinct S.USN, S.name, B.branch name, B.book name, then A.author name, B.borrowed, date from a student, S, book B, author A, borrow, BO, branch BR, where s.usn equals to bo.usn and s.branch id is equal to br.branch id and sm equals to 2 and br.branch name equals to mca. Then the fourth query is to display the number of books written by each author. This we have to select a.author id count b.book id from a book B, author A where b.author 1 id is equal to author a.author id group by a author id. Next, we have to display the student details who borrowed more than 2 books. In this, we have to select s.usn count bo.book id from student s borrow bo book bk where s.usn is equal to bo.usn and bo.book id is equal to bk.book id group by s.usn having count bo.book id is greater than 2. Next, we have to display the student details who borrowed a books more than one author. In this, we have to select the s.usn count a.author id from student s borrow bo book bk author a where s.usn is equal to b.usn and bk.book is id is equal to bo.book id and a.author id is equal to bk. Author 1 id group by s.usn having a count a.author id is greater than 1. And the seventh query is to display the book names in descending order of their names. We have to select from book order by book name descending. Next, the last query is to list the students who borrowed the books which are published by the same publisher. Like we have to select a s.usn, s.name, b.book name, b.publisher from student book from student s, book b, borrow bo where s.usn is equal to bo.sn and b book id is equal to bo.book id and b publisher is equal to ttt. Okay. Next, we are having a schema diagram. In this, we are branch id, branch id, branch name HOD, and student USN name, address, SEM, and branch id. And the book is having book id, book name, publisher, branch id, author id. And the author is the author id, author name, country, age, and the borrow is having USN, book id, and borrow date. And here the ER diagram where a branch entity is having attributes called branch id, branch name, HOD, and the student entity is having attributes like USN, name, address, and SEM. And borrow is having borrow date and book with author id, book, and publisher. And the author entity is author id, author name, country, and age. That's it, ma'am.
Okay.
Then, ma'am, shall I show fifth program execution, ma'am?
ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀಯಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ.
ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಿತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ.
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಈಗ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇತ್ತು.
ಆಯ್ತು, ನಾಳೆ ತೋರಿಸು.
ಓಕೆ.
Anybody else?
Can I show?
Yes, Pawan. Yeah, Pawan.
Ma'am, first I will show like execution of 4th and 5th. Later I will explain my 5th, ma'am. This is just execution.
ಹರ್ಷಿತ್,
This is 4.
ಯಾಕಪ್ಪ ಇಬ್ರಿಬ್ರು ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಯಾವ್ದು ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು? ಹರ್ಷಿತ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡು.
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಫಿಫ್ತ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಷನ್.
ಅದೇ ನೀನು ತೋರಿಸು, ಪವನ್ ತೋರಿಸ್ಲಿ, ಎರಡು ಸೈಮಲ್ಟೇನಿಯಸ್ ಆಗಿ. ಆಯ್ತು, ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಪ್ಪ. ಆಯ್ತು.
ಓಕೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
ಎಸ್ ಪವನ್.
Yeah, ma'am, sharing. First, I'm showing my program, ma'am. These are the data inside the tables. Yes. This is tourist, ma'am, tourist data. It's data and email. Now coming queries, ma'am. In first query, we are displaying like state name which is having maximum number of tourist places. For me, I got Andhra. In second query, list the details of tourist place where maximum number of tourists visited. Second query. Third query, details of tourists visited all tourist places of the state Karnataka. Fourth one, list of the tourist, at least one tourist place of the state, but visited all the tourist places. Last query, tourist place visited by tourists of all country, man. From here, like fourth execution is over. This one is fifth one. Data from constituency table, party, contest and voter.
Yes, Pawan, we'll stop
Ye-
after your execution. The explanation you can do it tomorrow. Time is up. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Fifth one, first query, ma'am. We are displaying the details of candidates who are contesting from more than one constants, which belongs to different states. First query. In second query, we are displaying the state name having maximum number of constituencies. Third, we are creating procedure, ma'am. First, like later, we are checking the age if it is more than 18 or not. In fourth query, same again procedure creating. Like first, before in voter table, we are having this is before data up to 357 we are having. Later, I have inserted using this command insert and 358 I have given. Here we can see 358 now. Data inserted. Fifth, we are taking it here. This is the before data from constituency table. Like before in table 3 constituency, we are having only 4 number of voters. Like after that, I have inserted data. You can see here it's changed to 5 men. Total execution is over.
Okay. So we'll stop for today. Time is up. Tomorrow again we'll meet.